Hello, welcome to Solo Playthroughs. So we've reached a YouTube milestone. I have 100 subscribers. Thank you all for that. And now that we're at 100, I figured it'd be time to put out a top 10 list of the top 10 games according to me, and definitely only me. There's definitely something self-indulgent about putting out a top 10 list, but now that I'm at 100 subscribers, I figured it'd be helpful for some people who are watching or considering subscribing to this channel to see what are the games that I enjoy, what are the 10 games that I would prefer to have on the table either solo or with other people. So I'm not just sticking to solo games in this list. My top 10 is broader than that, although if you're subscribing to my channel and seeing what I post, you can probably guess the top 3 games on my list. You might not have it in the right order, but you can probably guess the top 3. But what are the other 7? Now, a couple of words. This is my quarantine haircut, and if you are noticing lines that do not adjust your video, I am one of 100,000 people who has a series of folds in my head. I did not know I had that until I got this beautiful, stylish quarantine hairdo. So, if you thought I was a freak from listening to some of my videos and watching them before, now you have visual proof. This is my beard, however. It's a little scraggly, more scraggly than usual with the quarantine, but I do tend to keep a longer beard. So with that, let's get started with the top 10. Number 10 for me is Blood Rage. So there's a lot of games that could have been my number 10. For me, the way my list worked out, it was top 3 were easy, and then 4 through 10 there was some jockeying, and especially 9 and 10 there were a bunch of games I considered. I think what puts Blood Rage over the top for me and gets into my top 10 is the number of hours I spent painting the miniatures. I never actually had the inclination to paint miniatures until I started playing this game and just felt like it would really help bring it to life a little bit more. The minis are so cool out of the game that I just wanted to add an extra layer of enjoyment to this game. The area control is cool. It's complex and interesting, but not overly complicated. It's one of those games I can use in a wider variety of my gaming group, and I appreciate that. So it just, again, it's the number of ways you can really win and the strategies that are there. Would like to play it more and go deeper with it. I do have all the expansion content. The 5th player expansion has proved helpful and necessary for me. The Mystics, I think, add a nice wrinkle. I am still excited to start messing with the gods. I have not actually gotten them to the table yet, but really enjoyed the game. It just fits a nice niche in my collection. So that's it, number 10, Blood Rage. Number 9 for me is Robinson Crusoe. And honestly, if I get nothing out of this channel other than the ability to really enjoy this game more, that will be more than enough. If anyone watched my second Robinson Crusoe video, you will know that I was very much iffy about Robinson Crusoe as a solo game, and I wasn't getting it to the table enough in a cooperative scenario. So, just was wondering what place it really had in my collection, and then a very helpful viewer whose name I do not have at the tip of my tongue right now, but you can go through, look in the comments, was awesome and kind of let me know that I was missing a very key rule in the morale phase that was radically changing how the game played for me. Now that I have adjusted that rule, and by adjusted I mean now that I know what the heck I'm doing with this game, perhaps I put this on the channel a little bit too soon as far as my experience with the game. Now that I know what I'm doing, it really has brought the game to life for me. It has made all of the characters so much more interesting in that you get more determination tokens. You're not so worried about having to, mitigate and manage the morale track, because it kind of takes care of itself. So I really like the game. I like the experience of the game a lot more now that I'm actually playing by the right rules. I think the scenarios they're interesting and they're different. The second scenario I can kind of do without, but the rest that I've played so far have really been fun and dynamic, and learning how to beat each of the scenarios with each of the characters has been a nice challenge. I mean, it's still a really hard game, but what happened for me, it was at the level of hard that I just couldn't enjoy it because it just felt so luck dependent And now it's like, oh no, there is a strategy and there's things that you can do. And yes, it's still a lot of luck, but there's still a sense of having a chance every time you play to try to pull out, whatever the goal of the scenario is: survival, building the crosses, saving Jenny, etc. So very, very cool game, very, very dynamic. Now I have a much better understanding of why it's so renowned, thanks to, again, a helpful viewer on this channel, and happy to have it in my top 10. So number 9, Robinson Crusoe. Number 8. Number 8 is the only game on this list that I do not actually own a copy of, and that is Gloomhaven. So Gloomhaven is interesting for me in that it was so hyped when my friend bought it and I started the campaign that I think my expectations were just too high, and I liked it. I always liked it. I think it was mechanically interesting. The characters are interesting, but there were so many things about the game that I was like, what are we doing? It's so long. My second character was the Elementalist. Didn't really love that character, especially since none of my comrades, so to speak, were actually doing anything to give me elements to play with. So I've had yeah, it's great, but why? Why is it so renowned? And over time, as we've gotten deeper and deeper into the campaign, obviously we're on hold right now due to the global situation, I've really learned to appreciate all that it has to offer, and it is my number 8. So obviously I don't have it as highly ranked as many people, but it is I see the beauty in the game, and I'm happy to actually looking forward to Frosthaven. I have backed Frosthaven on Kickstarter because I think some of my concerns about the sameness with Gloomhaven, I think, are going to seem to have been addressed in Frosthaven and some of the design choices that were made there. So I'm excited to see what that's going to bring to the table. But yeah, I mean, Gloomhaven, there's a reason why it's number 1 on Board Game Geek, and looks like it's going to be there for a long time to come. The dynamic nature and the interplay between the monsters and your cards, and being able to pick 2 cards but kind of change your mind on the fly based on changing circumstances on the table, I think is something to be said about just how fun that design is, and the challenge that every scenario presents. So some of the scenarios could be a little shorter in my mind. I wish there was, again, more variety from scenario to scenario, but if you take each scenario for what it is, and even if it is just defeat all enemies again, if you take each scenario for what it is and really just think about how just the experience of working together as a team to accomplish that goal, it does create some really awesome gaming moments that I will never forget, and for that it just forced its way into my top 10. So number 8, Gloomhaven. Number 7, it's a beast. Twilight Imperium, 4th edition. There are so many reasons why I should not like this game. There are so many things about this game that really should make this so far from my top 10. I am not a huge fan of negotiation games. I'm not, or the negotiation mechanic. I don't love king-making possibilities. I don't love all the dice rolling. I don't love the idea of a 12-hour game, but that game just breaks so many rules for me in what I think I like and what I enjoy. It is so epic in every way. I have only played it twice, and I will put that out front. And I believe that if I was playing this game every week, I might not even have it in my top 10. But the 2 experiences I had with that game, and I lost both. I wasn't a contender near the end of both. And I was actually ended up being the barony of Letnev both times and lost the key battle. And it just kind of, I feel like Letnev might be more one-dimensional than some of the other factions. And again, I have so much more to experience with that game, and I think one of the reasons it's on my top 10 is how excited I am about the prospects of what that game represents. But the 2 experiences, all-day games with a close group of friends, and just seeing the excitement, seeing how quickly 12 hours can go on a gaming table, even though you're only playing one game, and even though the winning score is literally only 10 points, it's such an amazing amazing game, an amazing gaming experience. And for me, board gaming is all about creating those experiences, whether solo or with other people. So I really could not leave Twilight Imperium 4th edition off of my top 10, because when I do think about board gaming, it's always right there near the surface of my mind, as far as games that I would love to play again and games that I'm looking forward to, because you have to schedule Twilight Imperium 4th. There's nothing like it, right? So looking forward to the opportunity, well, first when this global situation clears up enough that we can actually start gaming amongst friends again safely, but looking forward to the opportunity to get my third play of Twilight Imperium 4th edition under my belt, so it can further solidify where it belongs in my personal board game rankings. But what a cool game, what a cool gaming experience. If you haven't played Twilight Imperium 4th and you're scared about the playtime and all of that, I get all of that, but I would encourage you to try to find a way to just have that experience, because it really is something that surprised me how much I enjoyed it as a board gamer, knowing the games I like and knowing some of the elements of that game. But still, it just stands out to me as just something that's more than deserving of its spot on my top 10. So that's it. Number 7 is Twilight Imperium 4th edition. Number 6. There's a few boxes here. Ding, ding, and here we go. Scythe. This was where it started for me. The idea of sitting around a board game table by myself playing a game was something that was pretty foreign to me. Not that long ago, probably been solo gaming for about 2.5 years now. Scythe was the first game that I really dug my teeth into as a solo gamer, and really started to appreciate the richness of the solo game experience. Again, Automa Factory did a great job. The Automa card deck is cool, and seeing how an AI can really simulate a real opponent just with a deck of cards, I find fascinating, and really appreciate the beauty and design. Fenris for me was a huge miss. I will never play that campaign again. I will use some of the elements, like the other scoring modules and stuff like that. If you guys like Fenris, that's great. My group, it was just a big miss, and it was a good group of gamers too. So I just think there was something deeply flawed about Fenris. Very much not for me. But the rest of it, Invaders from Afar are great. Wind Gambit I could take or leave, but the base game and Invaders from Afar and the richness of the different factions and the experience of the board and the quality of the components really just give such a tremendous gaming experience that I would be hard pressed to ever see this leave my top 10 just because of how good it is. So that's it. It's maybe the only Stonemaier game I really love, but it really I'll be ever grateful for its place in my life and my growth as a gamer, and it's one of the good ones. So number 6 is Scythe. Number 5, Gaia Project. Now you will see I am obviously heavily there's not a whole bunch of shockers on my list. My ability to learn about games has been very driven by the gaming community and Board Game Geek and whatnot. And there are games on there that I like. There are games on there that I love. There are games on there that I don't understand why they're so highly ranked. Terraforming Mars. But Gaia Project for me is really does deliver, and it took a long time for me to really understand just how rich this game was, mostly because I couldn't get it to the table with my group of friends. We were just playing so much Arkham or whatever else that we had in front of us that there just was always another game we were looking to play. The solo mode in Gaia is really why it's on my list in the top 10 games, because just having a game that's this rich and this full and this interesting and has so many different factions that all play so differently, and to be able to experience all that solo is such a cool addition to my gaming collection. Now, I've only played Terra Mystica once. I've played Gaia Project a few times. Playing Gaia Project solo was when I really started to learn and see just how fun this game could be. and I'm looking forward to, now that I understand the strategies more and understand what's going on, and know how to manipulate the system in a way that you need to maximize your score in that game. I'm looking forward to getting it to the table again amongst friends, and to start, getting even more experience and more enjoyment out of the game in competitive games. Now that, again, I feel like I have a better sense of what's going on. I will likely get a playthrough of Gaia Project on the channel soon. It took me probably a couple of dozen playthroughs before I, as a solo gamer, before I got comfortable enough with what's going on that I felt like I had something to offer in a playthrough of that game on this channel. So I'm happy to bring that to you all soon. But Gaia Project, it's a great game. Automa Factory, really, the idea of them being able to simulate the idea of an actual opponent with just cards, again, what they did in Scythe was good. What they did in Gaia Project was great. And it's such a cool gaming experience, to the point that if someone asked me if they should buy Gaia Project just to play it solo, I would definitely say, sure. There's a ton of game here to be had. It's a good one. So can get a little min-maxy. The last 2 rounds especially, I had that experience in competitive play, and even solo. You really sometimes have to sit there and figure out how to min-max your turn more than is ideal. Can add a little bit to gameplay. If you have someone that has analysis paralysis, do not play this game with them, please, ever. I mean, look, once in a while I'm fine, but if someone's going to take literally 5 minutes a turn, there are enough decisions in this game that actually could be a big problem. So, but still, great game. If this list was done this list was done 3 weeks ago, this game would not be in my top 10, but it has quickly risen the ranks as I've just found myself turning to that game more and more to get a couple of games under my belt when I had some time, and it's a good one. So number 5, Gaia Project. Number 4, Seventh Continent. So I have the classic box. I do not have the Kickstarter. I do not have the Kickstarter content. I do have a number of the expansion curses, like the Icy Maze. I have the Forbidden Sanctuary. I think I have bought 3, whatever is available. So I think I have three of the expansion. The Crystal Song, which is more like an intro scenario, but I'll get a gameplay of that up on the channel before too long. It's a good game. It's probably, in my mind, the most flawed game in my top 10, in that some of the design choices I kind of question and wonder. I mean, you could be 10 hours into an exploration thing if you're trying to figure things out, and then one decision and you're just set back hours and hours and hours. And I wonder if they needed to make some of those decisions, but it's such a good, rich game, and learning how each of the character plays, and the special character cards, the crafting, the combinations of cards, using the keywords to your advantage to maximize the pips on all of your dice. It's just a cool game. I've played it 2 players a bunch. That was my major intro. I do like it more solo. I think it lends itself more to solo, and the idea of spending hours, and look, I love my friends, but hours and hours and hours with one friend, and then you fail, you're really going to want to do that when you have 10 other games you could be playing. If you really want to try again, you know what I'm saying? But it's, for what it is, there's the satisfaction that comes with beating a curse. I mean, it can be a little bit anticlimactic, but it's still just great and rich and relaxing. And once you learn how to find food and get food and keep yourself alive, so you can keep exploring and keep doing what you need to do, the game just opens up in some cool ways. I do wish that the Classic Edition came with Crystal Song, in that I think it would have been a much better introduction to the game for me, starting with the Voracious Goddess right out the box with no context, and you're still figuring out the rules, and the rule book suffers from serious ambiguities. Some of that's necessary, some of that's not. that was a little frustrating. But once I was able to really get all the rules down, get through the Voracious Goddess, went backwards, picked up the Crystal Song off of the Serious Pulp website, played through that, and now I just really, if I'm just have a bunch of time, I'm excited to start one of the new curses. I think I still have 2 or 3 curses that I haven't played through yet. So I just finished the Icy Maze, and just a cool experience. So it's clever. I appreciate what they did. I think they could have done it better, but obviously it's still in my top. What are we? We're top 4 for a reason. So it's a great game. So yeah, for a solo gamer, it's almost a must. Just the hours of play you can get out of it. I would recommend getting the classic edition. I hope they figure out their production issues and can figure out a way to get the rest of the content to everyone sooner rather than later. I'm happy. I will be picking up the new curses as they become available, because each curse, again, you get so many hours of gameplay out of it that I think it's worth it. So great game. And number 4, Seventh Continent. Number 3. All right, my top 3. If you've been paying attention to my channel, my top 3 should be pretty obvious, as I said earlier. And number 3 is Spirit Island, with the Branch and Claw expansion. I do consider that an essential expansion. Branch and Claw is one of those games that I will very rarely play this game without the Branch and Claw. I have played it a couple times recently without Branch and Claw, just because of distance gaming, and a friend of mine who has only the base set and not the Branch and Claw expansion. But the Branch and Claw expansion, I think, just adds so much theme and narrative and intrigue and interest and events and experience to the game that I find it's lacking when you don't have the Branch and Claw expansion with it. But what a game. When I first started playing Spirit Island, I felt that the lessening win condition kind of cheapened the experience for me a little bit. But then I started to go up the ladder with the different adversaries, and you just see how dynamic and how hard that game can be, and the thought and the work that needs to go into winning every scenario, every attempt at the higher levels. And now it's like, nope, I understand the earning your way to that next fear card, the next terror level, earning your way to any terror-based victory is so finely tuned and hard, and that game is so thinky. I mean, just the idea of seeing what's coming, and it's like, I know what's coming. Can I do anything about it? Is so cool. Like, there's so few games that I think that create that element where it's like, hey, we're not hiding anything. You know what's happening, and now you need to puzzle it out, figure out how to actually get to victory and get to success, and to ward off those invaders off your island. And the spirits, oh my gosh, like, I just seeing someone that Eric, what is his name? Eric Roos. I'm sure I'm butchering his last name. I mean, just I would have loved to seen his process as he sat down and designed mechanics that fit each of the individual spirits in a way that he did. And playing as Ocean is so much different than playing as, Fangs Behind the Leaves and Vital Strength of the Earth, and just seeing how each of the sets of mechanics brings each of the spirits to life is so cool. And I will never tire of just falling in love with the design of the different spirits anew every time I play a spirit I haven't played for a while. Again, other than what was that? Who was that? Shadows Sprinkled Like Flames. Yeah, I could do without Shadows. The rest of them, amazing spirits, and really looking forward to the 10 new ones that are coming out in 2 months. That's gonna be bananas. So really excited about the Jagged Earth expansion, breathing new life into this game. They can take the 2 extra boards and the idea of playing with 6 players, and they can go away with that. That's not happening. But I would love to play this game with 1 or 2 other people anytime, and I will obviously be playing it solo like crazy. So number 3, Spirit Island. Number 2. All right, here's the thing, because I know some people are gonna be like, how is this number 2 and not number 1? For me, there's my top two games, and then there's Spirit Island, which is like a close third, but still third, and then there's the rest, right? I mean, because I could go like probably 4 through 12, and my impression of those games will change on a weekly basis. But 1A and 1B, this is pretty much 1B, so I wouldn't even call it number two. I'm going to call it 1B, is Mage Knight. This game, I was on a Facebook group and some dude said that Mage Knight is so overrated in a comment, and like, I don't get into those arguments because it's just not worth the time. And like, dude, you're entitled to your opinion, but it's such an ignorant comment. Like, ah. I mean, you can say it's not for me. I get a lot of people that this game is not for. But the game that's so many people consider this the best solo game of all time. To say that it's overrated or so overrated without any real context, you just don't understand the game, and that's fine. I mean, but the richness of the game, the richness of the experience, the challenge it presents. I played that game dozens and dozens and dozens of times, and I just stick with those three scenarios. I mean, Solo Conquest, Volcara's Return, Volcara's Quest. I got 7 different heroes. We're good. I do, in the Lost Legion expansion, I do consider as essential to Mage Knight as I consider the Branch and Claw expansion to Spirit Island. I just think it adds so much more interest. The tokens become so much more interesting. The idea you could be doing a solo conquest and run into Volcara's camp instead of a city is always so interesting. It just changes how you think about the game. It makes it much more rich and much more dynamic. But from the mazes and the labyrinths and the different terrains and the mines and the magical glades and the different units you can recruit. I mean, every game is so different. Every game is a different story. There's never a time that I'm playing Mage Knight and I'm like, oh, this is samey. This is just like the last time. Like, you're still sieging cities and you're still trying to get artifacts. You're still trying to get spells. But every time that I play, and generally I will usually win when I play on a 6-9 level. Right, that's a solo conquest. The first city is level 6, the second city being level 9. But every time I don't think I'm going to pull it out at some point. And then you just have to find those combinations of spells and artifacts and units and advanced action cards to get to the victory, to find a way to accomplish your goals, to find a way to conquer that city, to find a way to beat that last Draconum of Volcara's Legion, right? I mean, it's such a good, amazing, great game. I will never tire of playing it. It's long. It's hard to get to the table sometimes. It can take a while to set up and take down and all of that. And I get it. But it's so good that Mage Knight will be one of my top 2 forever. I can almost guarantee that. And there's a lot of games I haven't played yet. And I'm really excited about games coming out in the next year and Kickstarters that I've just picked up some new games in the next year. But Mage Knight is just that game for me that one of the 2 games for me that I will always be eager to get back to the table and play again. So number 2, Mage Knight. And number 1 for me, and I said it the first video I ever put on this channel, is Arkham Horror, the card game. I don't even have the box anymore. I mean, it's somewhere. I mean, I have 2 card cases there. I got the 3 return 2s. I got 5 novellas here. I got another thing for my sleeved cards and a thing for chaos tokens and extra card sleeves and all my scenario packs. I mean, this game, the content keeps coming. I think I got 4 or 5 things pre-ordered from Arkham that are from Asmodee that are going to be coming in June or July or whatever. They can start shipping things out again, or it would make sense for them to do so. Looking forward to the Dream Eaters campaign to finally be finished off. I just have finally be finished off. I still have 5 Mythos packs that I'm kind of sitting on, excited to open whenever I know I can finish that campaign. But look, I get that this game would not be for everybody. This is the only collectible card game that I have bought into. I would be hard pressed to start any more of them, as much as people love Marvel. This theme These ideas are so much more interesting to me. The design, every scenario is just different. They've really, the design team for this game continues to amaze me in what they can pull off with just a set of cards, from locations to assets to new investigators and new ideas. And the number of times I've had to rethink how to play this game, it's so rich. The return twos, I resisted buying them for a long time. Love what they've done with the return twos. I wish they did a little bit more at some points, but I just still love the ideas, the way they've changed certain scenarios, the new enemies to fight, the way that they've enriched the encounter sets. It's the depth of playing this game, the replayability. I mean, the idea of playing trying a campaign, and now I have 30 something different investigators I can try it with, and each one of those investigators is going to need to win. I'm going to need to take a new look at how I play this game, the cards I have access to, and decide how do I build a deck that's going to be able to withstand the 8 scenarios, or if you're playing Zealot, the 3 scenarios, if you're playing Zealot with some side scenarios, the 5 scenarios that I'm actually about to embark on, and to figure out how to turn each of those investigators into an investigator that has a chance to actually overcome the cosmic horror challenges that it is facing. I only play on standard mode. Dude, people that play on hard, God bless you. I don't know what you're trying to prove. This game is really hard. That's fine. It is what it is. I'm so skeptical when I play on hard. Well, why? I would love to see your win rate. That makes no sense to me. Standard, this game is a challenge. Will always be a challenge. I will never win on standard and feel like that it's a cheapened experience. The Chaos Bag is brutal. I pick the tentacles more than anybody I know. Ask any of my friends that plays this game with me. They will absolutely back me up on that. And I still freaking love this game so much. I finally, after like months of asking my wife to just try this game with me, we finally finished the Zealot campaign with her, and was really, hopefully that will be continued, because this game is just so good. Love it with 2, really enjoy it with 1. No, I love it with 1. Probably I still love it a little bit more with 2. It's been a go-to game for me with distance gaming. In the current situation that we're in, I have a number of friends that own at least 1 or 2 of the campaigns that we can kind of play through from afar. But that's it. I mean, this game, if I was stuck on a desert island and had nothing but what I needed to survive and one other thing, I would want to bring my entire Arkham collection if that was the one thing, because of just the replayability that's there, and the challenges that the game presents, and again, they keep. I mean, look, every campaign there's probably one scenario that I'm like, but generally speaking, every new pack, every scenario is a hit for me, and a huge hit for me, and it just keeps getting better and better, and until it stops getting better and better, I'm on. Take my money, because I'm going to keep investing into my Arkham collection and keep. Because every time you get a new investigator, now it's like I can go back and play all the campaigns I already own with this new investigator, because it's going to present new challenges, or it's going to make me see this campaign in a new way, right? Every time there's a new scenario, now it's like I want to try that scenario with all the investigators I have, because I want to, bring myself and see, like, all right, well, how can I make Roland and Daisy work in the scenario as much as Preston's probably my least favorite, but Calvin Wright. I adore the challenge that Calvin Wright presents, or Tony Morgan is such a strong solo investigator. Ursula, seeing she's amazing in Forgotten Age, how does she play in Dunwich? I mean, all of that is so rich. So I'm not a huge Lovecraft guy. I've enjoyed learning about Lovecraft through this game, and it's definitely forced me to kind of look more into the Lovecraftian mythos as I played this game, to give me a new level of understanding of how rich this game is, and what some of the backstories are. But again, you don't need to love Lovecraft. You don't need to be like into this creepy whatever stuff to really see what this game presents, and just love it for the mechanics that are there, because it's very, 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 very rich, very rewarding, very cool, and just a great experience for 1 or 2 players. I've played it with 3. It's great. It's fine. I don't know if I would enjoy it as much with 4. I think it would just add a lot of time to each of the scenarios on a level that I'm not sure would make it enhance the experience. But 1, 2, 3, such a cool game, and Arkham has a special place in my heart and a lot of space on my shelf. So that is another issue, but we will deal with that, because you know what, the table I play on it was built down in this basement and it's too big to get out. So we're gonna have to add more shelf space before we find a new location to play. That is for sure. But that is it. I enjoyed putting this together. Again, thank you to everyone who subscribes to this channel, everyone who comments, everyone who likes. I've really, when I started this, I said it'd be an adventure and didn't really know where it would go, and it's kind of this goofy thing that I've been doing, and just really to see the responses I've gotten, to get to 100 subscribers, and to see possibilities for where this could go in the future, and to continue to be able to bring what I love to do to others and hopefully help their own personal experiences with some of these games is enriching to me and rewarding to me. So thank you for giving me that opportunity, and thank you for joining me for this top 10. Maybe there'll be another one in a couple years and we'll see how it changes, but for now, hopefully this is a window into who I am as a gamer, and gives you a chance to kind of see a little bit more behind the curtain as I continue to put my videos up once a week. I will likely be doing a live playthrough of Spirit Island, so you can look out for that in a couple of weeks, and maybe I'll do that every 100 subscribers or so, and hopefully that will mean that those live playthroughs will be happening more and more frequently as we go forward. But for now, I hope everyone is being safe and is doing as well as can be expected in these very weird and trying times, and I hope you are getting a lot of time to game, if nothing else, as we are all just trying to make the best of these times, and hoping for the best for everyone, our families and the world at large. But until next time, happy gaming, and thanks for joining me.